The lawyer's office smelled like paper and polished wood. It was the kind of room designed to make hard things sound orderly. I remember watching the edge of the desk more than anyone's face. My brother, Ethan, leaned back in his chair like he was waiting for a delayed flight. My mother kept smoothing the sleeve of her blazer. My father's expression was neutral, his version of seriousness. I had already prepared myself for something uneven. I just didn't know how uneven. The lawyer cleared his throat and began reading. The house, the land outside the city, the savings accounts, the investment portfolio. All to the elder son. The words weren't dramatic. They weren't administrative. Efficient. I waited for a pause. A clarification, something like, and provision for the daughter. But the sentence ended cleanly. I felt something familiar settle in my chest, not shock. Recognition. You've always been independent. My father said gently, as if this were a compliment. You don't need support the way he does. Ethan didn't look at me. He studied the carpet like it held something fascinating. My mother added, "You're stronger." Stronger. It had always meant self-sufficient. It had always meant optional. I nodded, I even smiled. The lawyer slid documents across the table. The distribution was legal. Cleanal. What wasn't mentioned? Because it wasn't technically part of the will. Was that for the past 6 years? I had been transferring money into my parents' account every month. Not because they were destitute. Because the mortgage still had a balance, and Ethan's business needed breathing room. It had started small. A temporary solution. Then it became routine. Automatic. No one ever asked if I could. They asked when I would. After the meeting, we stood in the parking lot under pale afternoon light. Ethan finally spoke. "It just makes sense," he said. "You have your career, I have responsibilities." I almost laughed. Responsibilities. As if I didn't have my own life. My own rent, my own plans postponed quietly over the years. But I didn't argue. I didn't accuse, I didn't list numbers, I drove home and made tea. I opened my laptop. I logged into my bank. The transfers were there, lined up neatly: mortgage assistance, utility support, property tax contribution. All recurring. I scheduled an appointment at the bank for the next morning. The branch manager recognized me. I had been a reliable customer. Predictable. "I'd like to cancel these automatic transfers," I said. He glanced at the screen. All of them, all of them." There was a pause, not judgmental, just procedural. "You understand the payments will stop immediately." "Less." He rotated the tablet toward me. I signed. It wasn't dramatic, no swelling music, just a digital confirmation and a printed receipt. When I walked outside, I expected guilt to hit hard. Instead, I felt space. Unfamiliar, almost unsettling space. For weeks, nothing happened. Ethan posted pictures from a seaside resort in Florida. My mother texted me a recipe for cornbread. My father forwarded an article about rising interest rates with no comment. No one mentioned money. I almost wondered if they had adjusted quietly. Maybe Ethan stepped up. Maybe the inheritance came with maturity. Then, exactly a month later, my phone buzzed while I was at work. A message from my mother. "Mortgage is due." No greeting, no context. Just expectation wrapped in assumption. I stared at the screen for a long time. My first instinct was to explain. To remind her about the will. About fairness. About how being strong had turned into being the safety net. But explanation felt like negotiation. And I was done negotiating my worth through utility. I typed 3 words, "Not mine." I watched the typing bubble appear. Disappear. Reappear. "Don't be like this," she wrote. "Thought you understood." Understood what? That my contribution was permanent regardless of their choices. That inheritance and obligation flowed in opposite directions. I didn't respond. 3 days later, my father called. His voice was tight. "The bank sent a notice," he said. "They're saying the full payment wasn't received." "Yes," I said calmly. "Because I'm not sending it anymore." Silence. Not the explosive kind. The recalculating kind. "You're punishing." "No," I said. "I'm stepping back. You know your brother can't cover that alone." The sentence hung there. Finally said out loud. "That sounds like something you should discuss with him." I replied. There was a sharp exhale. "After everything we've done for you." I almost asked what that was. Tuition I'd repaid, emotional labor I'd supplied. Stability I'd maintained. But I didn't need to inventory my value anymore. "That mortgage isn't in my name," I said quietly. "Legally or otherwise." It was the first time I had spoken in terms of fact instead of feeling. A week later, I learned through my aunt that Ethan had moved back into the house to manage things. The vacation photo stopped. His tone on social media shifted to motivational quotes about responsibility. No one apologized. No one thanked me for the years before. But something undeniable had changed. The next family gathering was smaller than usual. The air felt cautious. My mother hugged me, but there was hesitation in it, like she was assessing unfamiliar ground. Ethan met my eyes this time. Not warmly, not angrily. Just aware. The power in the room had redistributed itself, not through confrontation but through absence. My absence from the payment cycle had weight. Driving home that night, I realized I wasn't triumphant. I wasn't even satisfied, I was steady. For most of my life, being dependable had felt like love. Now I understood it had also been leverage, just never mine. I don't know what will happen long term. Maybe the house will be refinanced. Maybe it will be sold. Maybe resentment will calcify into distance. What I know is this: the next mortgage reminder didn't come to me. And when my phone buzzes now, it's usually about ordinary things. Weather, health, recipes. Responsibility has edges again. Self-respect doesn't feel loud. It feels like a closed transfer. And for the first time, when something isn't mine, I don't pick it up.